So one of the cooler announcements I saw at Gamescom over the summer was a sequel to the 2014, I think, Lords of the Fallen, the new title being called The Lords of the Fallen, and today we're going to be diving into the release date, news, leaks, platforms, story, and more. Now, the article was published on jinx.com on November 3rd, 2022 by Wessel Mini, and it says the overlying title of it is everything you need to know about The Lords of the Fallen, including the sequel's release date, gameplay, features, platform, and more. Now, this announcement is something I'm super excited for, and I never did play the original one, but when you're watching this gameplay trailer I have running for you guys, you're going to understand why it sparked my interest pretty severely. It even had me going and buying the original game just to test it out. So, without further ado, let's just get right into it. It says CI Games' Lords of the Fallen was released in 2014 to a mixed reception. Dubbed as a Soulsborne-like experience, while it wasn't all that great, some fans wonder if there is a Lords of the Fallen 2, aka the sequel. While a name such as Lords of the Fallen 2 might have been a bit more clear, The Lords of the Fallen is a sequel to the CI Games 2014 ARPG. Some believe the sequel was cancelled since it was announced 7 years ago, until a trailer at Gamescom 2022 announced the sequel below, and that's the one we're going to be running throughout this video here. It is being developed by Hexworks and will be published by CI Games. The developer Hexworks noted, "The first game that we are proudly developing is Lords of the Fallen 2. This sequel will shift from the original Powers fantasy to dark fantasy world, and it will also have more challenging combat than its predecessor, staying truer to experiences that the Soulsborne communities enjoy." Now, I did notice, and I mentioned it in the last video when we covered this being the new RPG getting announced, that the experience was a lot easier than like your typical Soulsborne, Dark Souls 3, Elden Ring game. At the time of writing, there is no exact release date for Lords of the Fallen. The game's release date window is 2023, and with no further information, any guess of a date in 2023 could be accurate. The developers have confirmed that the platform for the Lords of the Fallen, namely PC, PS5, and Xbox Series S and S. They've noted that amazing visuals and gameplay supported by the power and performance of the latest Unreal Engine as we target next-generation consoles, platforms, and high-end PCs. Now, getting into the Lords of the Fallen story. Moving from a power fantasy to dark fantasy world, the Lords of the Fallen story sees players take on the role of a dark crusader, embarking on a quest to overthrow a powerful demon god named Adir. A short story description explains, after an age of the cruelest tyranny, the demon god Adir was finally defeated, but gods do not fall forever. Now, eons later, Adir's resurrection draws nigh. In quotes, as one of the fabled Dark Crusaders journeys through both the realms of the living and the dead in this expansive RPG experience featuring colossal boss battles, fast challenging combat, thrilling character encounters, and deep immersive storytelling, your legend will be one of light or one of the darkness. The Lords of the Fallen will feature tough-as-nails gameplay in a vast, interconnected world. It will have more challenging combat than the 2014 title of nearly the same name to appease the Soulsborne community. The developers have listed some of the features the Lords of the Fallen, which you can read about below, and we'll dive into all of them. So again, like we've already covered, one of the features is embark on two vast parallel worlds, that of the living and the dead. Master a fluid and challenging combat system, wield devastating magic attacks and character buffs, invite a second player to join your campaign in uninterrupted multiplayer, encounter a wide array of characters eager to offer a dubious hand, fully customize your own unique character, and then choose from 9 starting classes, including a knight, rogue, and fire apprentice. The Lords of the Fallen gameplay teases challenging, fluid tactical combat. Players will be able to choose from hundreds of unique, brutal weapons as well as magic to defeat their foes. The game will also feature a multiplayer aspect where one player can join another in co-op. Just like in the Soulsborne titles, there will also be an invasion mechanic allowing others to jump into your world for some PvP. So that sounds like it's everything they know about the game so far, and I want to jump back to some of the game characteristics they've named off here, the ones we just went through, the bullet points. It does sound like they really are trying to capture that Soulsborne community, and they're making a very niche game here. This isn't going to be your typical God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West type big AAA game. This is going to a specific community. And if you are in that Soulsborne community, you're probably going to be very excited for this, given it sounds very similar to like a Dark Souls 3. One of the things I find that these games do struggle with is the challenge. It is not for everyone, even though, you know, you watch this trailer of it and, you know, it really entices you. It looks badass. You know, the characters look cool. The enemies look cool. Combat looks awesome. But then when you get into the game and you do start having to deal with some of those, you know, enemy encounters that are, you know, you're sitting there for an hour running through it, it can come frustrating. I do like the idea that it says you can invite a second player to join your campaign in uninterrupted multiplayer, which I'm assuming that means you could probably turn off some sort of invasion mechanic. It did sound like it does have one, but I'm assuming just in that sense it sounds uninterrupted. Now, what I want to know more is this actually going to be a co-op mode, or is it going to be kind of like the Dark Souls thing where you invite a character, they're not really leveling, like they're not on the same playing field, they're just there to help for a momentary thing. Also, the same thing like they said with a wide array of characters eager to offer, you know, a dubious hand. Is that something like Elden Ring 2 with the summons right before a boss battle, where you're getting that, you know, just side character to jump in the fight with you to help out, so you're not sitting there struggling the whole time. But it does look interesting. It really does. I think where the first game struggled is it was a little bit easier, so it lost the Soulsborne community there, but then also it was, you know, it just didn't run very well. It was new for what it was, and it didn't pop off, I guess, the way they really wanted it to, and that's where the game struggled. Now, I want to know from you guys, if you did play the 2014 Lords of the Fallen game, is this something you're looking forward to, getting a sequel on the next-gen consoles with hopefully, you know, more fluid combat and a little bit more of a challenge, or is it something that you're not, you know, the first game lost you and you're just not looking forward to it, not really going to check it out? For me personally, I'm definitely going to check it out, but I think definitely like the first one, wait on the reviews, see how it, you know, runs, see if a Soulsborne game is really for you. Try out some of the old Dark Souls games if you haven't played anything like this, because they're not for everyone. They can, you know, the Soulsborne games, in my opinion, really entice you with the visuals. They give you this really cool looking character to start with. The enemies are cool. There's big dragons, giant worlds, like giant castles you can traverse, big open areas in Elden Ring, things like that. Elden Ring's one of the most fantastic games, but it's not for everyone because of the difficulty. And I want to know, you know, do these games really suck you in with the visuals and then they lose you in the first half hour because you're stuck on, you know, an intro boss? But again, like I said, I'm excited for it, but we're going to wait and see. Probably won't buy it a day one. Maybe, it, you know, with it coming to Xbox and it being, you know, a smaller title, maybe we'll get it on Game Pass day one. We don't know. But I did want to just touch on this since we did touch on it about 4 months ago. So if you guys did enjoy the video, please be sure to smash the thumbs up button. Consider subscribing here if you guys want to stay up to date on all the latest gaming news we cover here. I know next week we're getting the big Witcher announcement, and you know that's been a big thing on our channel here. So we're going to jump into all the Witcher 3 DLC updates next week, so be tuned for that. And just turn on the notification bell so you guys never miss an upload. As always, my name's Ross, and I'll see you guys in the next video.